Hi, my name's Andreana, and I'm Amelia Heath's little sister. We're going to answer some frequently asked questions about deaf culture and deaf people. So how do deaf people wake up in the morning? I have 3 ways. 1, I use an alarm that has a string that attaches to a vibrating thing that stays under the mattress. It'll vibrate when the alarm goes off, and it helps deaf people wake up. The other option is a light flashing, and other people can help you by tapping you on the shoulder. Next question, can all deaf people read lips? Not all, but it depends on the people's mouth. Some people have like facial hair and it's really hard to understand. Some people, they speak way too fast and you miss certain words. So not always. I'm okay at it. I'm not that great. What are some things deaf people can hear? All deaf people's hearing levels vary. I'm almost completely deaf, so I really can't hear anything. Mostly I rely on vibration to figure things out. Some people can hear a little bit, like helicopters or music, loud music. Also, many deaf people love to put their volume up really loud in the car, and they just love that. So that means deaf people like music, and do they like to dance? Some deaf people like music, yeah. And some can dance as well. They don't have to. Like, I don't really like to, but I can dance if I want. How do deaf people know when their baby cries? I have a monitor that I put under the baby's crib. Then I have another monitor that the light goes up and down when the baby cries, and it'll vibrate, and I go and check on the baby. If the baby's right next to me, I'll frequently check by looking at the baby. Can deaf people talk? For me, I can't talk. I can use my voice, but I don't really like to. I know some people that took a lot of speech classes and they're really good at speaking, and some that don't. It really varies and it depends on the person. Do deaf people drive? Yes, I have my license. I would say 96% of deaf people have their license, so yes. And also deaf people have really good visual awareness. They'll catch if a car is pulling over because the policemen are coming around, or fire trucks or whatever. They're good at the visual identification. How do deaf people fight or argue? There's different styles of arguing. Some sign really fast. They show a lot of expression in their face. They pound on the table. You see it. They talk really fast. Yep, that's it. Is sign language universal? Not. There's no one same language. America has American Sign Language, and then in Europe they have Danish Sign Language, German Sign Language, Norwegian Sign Language. It's different depending on the country, or even depending on the island. Also in America, it's similar state to state, but there's different accents between state lines, or different styles of signing. I'm from New York, and I moved to Indiana, and I learned a variety of different signs. Cool. So can deaf athletes become pro, and how do you know when the referee blows the whistle? Yes, I know of some deaf athletes who have become pro. There's one man involved in the Seahawks, I believe, and they just won the Super Bowl, and he was deaf. So they have just different famous deaf athletes. And how you know that the referee blows the whistle? From my experience in a basketball team, when I would run and other hearing team members would stop, I would know I need to look to the ref to see what was going on. So just following the flow, following other team to see what happens. What are deaf relationships like? Well, the deaf community is a very small world, so you know everyone, and it's a little bit hard to have relationships. Deaf people express things a little differently than the hearing way. Like, hearing people say words like, oh, hey, babe, or would you get me that drink for me, please? Or, while deaf people would say, hey, get the drink for me. Not really involving cutesy words like babe. Signing's a little more awkward for that. Also, when you're going on a walk or a hike or something, it's hard for deaf people to hold hands. Why? That's because if you want to have a really good, deep conversation, it's hard to sign with just one hand. So you have to not hold hands and talk to each other. When it's quiet, you can hold hands again. Oh, also, at bedtime, when the lights are off, most deaf couples will act like a blind and deaf couple, and they'll sign with the lights off and put their hands together. Like when the light is on, then you understand each other anyway. So, okay, can deaf people perform? Oh yeah, performing is very big and a big deal to the deaf community. ASL stories, expressing, expressive performance. There's a lot of different kinds. My school that I graduated from always had plays every quarter. They had a lot of class activities related to performance because that's the best thing instead of a presentation for deaf people to learn. Deaf people are a lot more visual, so performance is huge. 2 more questions. One, do deaf people mind if they use the word deaf first, like deaf person, or do they prefer person who is deaf? Really, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me. I think people prefer a deaf person to a person who is deaf because we have a habit of calling ourselves a deaf person all the time. We don't think of it as a problem. Okay, last question. How do deaf people feel about being deaf? For me, I love being deaf. Why? It's different. My family is all hearing. I have both worlds. I have the hearing and the deaf world, and I'll go back and forth. Obviously, I like the deaf world better, but I have a lot of friends who prefer the deaf world, and there are a few friends who would prefer to be in the hearing world. They'd like music and like to have better communication with family, but overall, we really appreciate being in the deaf community. Thank you for watching. Bye.